The Pirate's Journey to the Lost Treasure. As the first rays of the morning sun rose over the calm sea, they illuminated an old pirate ship called the Black Storm. The vessel gently rocked on the waves as if it already knew that a great adventure was about to begin. Captain Richard Thunderbeard stepped onto the deck and shouted with a booming voice, "Crew, today we sail in search of the greatest treasure ever hidden." One by one, the pirates gathered on the deck. The first to arrive was Boatswain Bill Ironhand, a giant of a man who could lift a cannon with one arm. Next came young navigator Tom, famous for reading the stars and never losing his way at sea. Then appeared Cook Jack, whose meals were so delicious that even the roughest pirates forgot their arguments. Finally, an old pirate named Henry One-Eye slowly walked aboard, carrying a dusty yellowed map. "I found this many years ago," Henry said. "It shows the way to Skull Island, where the legendary Captain Morgan hid his treasure." The crew gasped in amazement. Captain Thunderbeard carefully spread the map across a wooden table. 3 dangerous places were marked along the route: Fog Island, the Great Whirlpool, and Dragon Reefs. "If we survive all 3, the captain said, "the treasure will be ours." The pirates immediately began preparing the ship. They loaded barrels of fresh water, sacks of hard biscuits, smoked meat, fruit, and extra gunpowder. Sailors checked every rope, repaired the sails, polished the cannons, and made sure the anchor was secure. The harbor buzzed with activity all day long. As the sun began to set, everything was finally ready. Captain Thunderbeard climbed to the helm. "Raise the anchor!" The heavy chain rattled loudly. "Hoist the sails!" The great white sails filled with the evening wind. "Set course for adventure!" The Black Storm slowly left the harbor and disappeared beyond the horizon. The first day at sea was peaceful. The ocean sparkled under the bright blue sky. Seagulls circled above the ship. The pirates sang songs, cleaned the deck, and dreamed of mountains of gold. But during the night, everything changed. Dark clouds swallowed the stars. The wind howled across the sea. A deafening clap of thunder shook the sky. "Storm ahead!" Tom shouted. Towering waves crashed against the ship, tossing it from side to side. The sails snapped violently. Water flooded the deck. Captain Thunderbeard gripped the wheel with all his strength. "Hold your positions. Don't give up." For hours, the crew battled the raging sea. Some sailors pumped water from below deck, while others fought to keep the sails under control. At last, just before sunrise, the storm passed. The sea became calm once again. Everyone sighed with relief, but in the distance, a thick white fog slowly rolled toward them. "We've reached Fog Island," Henry whispered. The ship entered the dense mist. Soon they could barely see a few feet ahead. Strange sounds echoed through the fog. Soft whispers drifted across the water. Bells rang somewhere in the distance. Several pirates became frightened. "I swear someone is following us," one sailor whispered. Henry smiled calmly. "The fog plays tricks on your mind. Trust your compass, not your ears." Captain Thunderbeard nodded. "Keep the ship steady." Hour after hour they sailed through the mysterious fog. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the mist disappeared. The crew cheered. The first challenge was behind them. 2 days later, the sea began to swirl. Ahead of them was a gigantic whirlpool. The water spun with terrifying force. "The Great Whirlpool!" Tom cried. Captain Thunderbeard quickly gave his orders. "All hands to the port side!" The sailors rushed into position. The sails shifted. The ship slowly turned away from the spinning water. But a massive wave caught the vessel and dragged it closer. The Black Storm tilted dangerously. For a terrifying moment, everyone believed they were doomed. Then Bill Ironhand shouted, "Drop the anchors!" Heavy anchors crashed into nearby rocks. The thick ropes stretched tight. The ship slowed just enough. Captain Thunderbeard turned the wheel with all his strength. Little by little, the ship escaped the whirlpool's deadly grip. The pirates erupted into loud cheers. They had survived again. Only one obstacle remained: dragon reefs. Sharp rocks barely rose above the surface of the sea. One mistake would tear the bottom out of the ship. Tom carefully studied the ancient map. A little left. Now straight. Easy, easy. The captain followed every instruction perfectly. Slowly, meter by meter, the black storm slipped safely between the hidden rocks. Then at last someone shouted, "Land!" In the distance stood a small tropical island. At the top of a hill grew a single enormous palm tree, the exact same tree drawn on the map. "We found it!" the crew yelled. The pirates climbed ashore and followed an old stone path. Soon they reached a dark cave. At its entrance stood a giant stone skull. Beneath it was an ancient message carved into the rock. Only those who remained loyal to their crew deserved this treasure. Captain Thunderbeard pushed open the massive stone door. Slowly, the cave revealed its secret. The pirates stood speechless. Mountains of gold coins sparkled in the torchlight. Massive treasure chests overflowed with jewels. Golden crowns, silver goblets, emeralds, rubies, and diamonds glittered in every direction. It was more wealth than anyone had ever imagined. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Captain Thunderbeard smiled. "The greatest treasure isn't this gold," he said. "It's the friendship, courage, and loyalty that brought us here together." The crew nodded. Instead of taking everything, they filled only a few chests, just enough for the ship to carry safely. The rest they left behind, hidden forever on Skull Island. As the black storm sailed home beneath a brilliant orange sunset, the sea was calm once again. The pirates laughed, shared stories, and dreamed about future adventures. For many years afterwards, sailors across the world told the legendary tale of the crew who faced storms, crossed haunted fog, escaped a deadly whirlpool, sailed through dragon reefs, and discovered the lost treasure of Skull Island. And everyone who heard the story remembered one important lesson. The greatest treasure is never gold. It is courage, friendship, and the people who stand beside you when the sea becomes dangerous.